We're making a super simple sourdough loaf without a scale. You don't have to own a scale to make sourdough. So if you've been hesitant on doing sourdough because of the gram measurement and it just seems intimidating, it does not have to be intimidating, and you don't have to use a scale or gram measurements. I'm gonna show you how I do it in cup measurements every single time. I've never owned a scale, and I don't really plan to because this works great for me. Now, you do have to have a starter to make sourdough. So if you don't have a starter and you want to learn how, I have, I think, 3 tutorials on starting new sourdough starters. Let me know if you can't find it, and I'll be happy to tag you in it. So now that that's out of the way, you have your starter, you fed it, and it's at peak. We're gonna start our dough. I'm starting with 2 cups of water. I use tap water because we have a well. Here's my starter. I fed it late last night, so it's at peak and it's ready to go. My basic recipe calls for a cup of active starter. I feed my starter thick. This is what I'm leaving in my jar to feed to use again. So you reuse your starter over and over and over. I get that question a lot in the comments. Do you have to start a brand new starter for each loaf of bread? No, you just keep refeeding your starter. I'm gonna have to put a new jar though because mine overgrew its jar last night. Add your cup of starter to your water. If you want to use bottled water, that's fine too. Things that I love: jar spatula. It's very helpful. If you don't have one, you can use a regular spatula, you can use a spoon, you can use whatever you have on hand. Other things I have and love is a dough whisk. Again, you don't have to have one, you can use a spoon or anything you have on hand. All you're gonna do is mix that starter in with your water until it looks like milk. We're just trying to break the starter up and make sure there's not as many lumps. I say a good milky texture is perfect. It can get frothy, that's fine. As long as there's not huge clumps of sourdough, you're good to go. And even if there was, it's not gonna hurt anything. This is just the way I like to do it. Next, we're gonna add 4 cups of flour. So it's 1 cup of starter, 2 cups of water, 4 cups of flour. So we're doubling each ingredient. I'm using Kirkland brand all-purpose. I also love to use Aldi brand all-purpose. I just happened to go to Costco and I have this flour, so I'm gonna use this. I am not picky on my flour. All-purpose, bread flour, anything you have is just fine. I'm gonna add 4 cups. I'm not leveling out my flour or making this perfect. I'm just dumping in 4 cups. And if you're newer to sourdough, you may want to try to heat those cups because lower hydration loaves are easier to work with. And now it's going to get 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm just using regular salt. I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's what I have and it's what I use. And I measure my salt right over my bowl. I've never been a rule follower. We're just gonna mix this in until it's a good shaggy dough. You can use your hands to mix this. You can use a dough whisk. You could use a regular rubber spatula, a spoon, a metal spoon. Anything you have to mix is just fine. And I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my hands at this point. It's still a little dry, which is one thing when we're measuring with cups, because I'm not leveling off and I'm not making anything perfect. Sometimes you will have to add a little extra flour or a little extra water. For the most part, this recipe though, I don't have to ever add anything. But if my house is extra humid or extra dry, sometimes I'll have to either add a little extra water, a little extra flour. And I don't notice too much of a difference like with my lower, my higher hydration. But I'm only baking for my family. I don't sell it, and I'm not looking for perfection. I just want to bake bread. It's therapeutic for me. I enjoy it. My family enjoys it. So definitely not looking for perfection. And I'm guessing if you're looking for perfection, you're not watching my sourdough tutorial and cup measurements. I like this to be solid. If it's a little more wet than this, I would still just go with it. This is the texture. It's definitely a solid dough ball. You can use shower caps to cover your bowl. You can use plastic wrap. You can use a Tupperware lid. You can use anything you have to cover your bowl, but cover it up. My mom gave me a sunflower bowl cover, so I've been using that. It's adorable. So just cover it up, set it aside for 1 hour, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna do 4 rounds of stretch and folds. I put that tiny little bit of starter I had left in this clean jar, and I'm gonna feed that later. It's just gonna sit on my counter basically all day until I'm ready to feed it tonight, because I'm gonna bake again tomorrow. But this is all I'm using to feed it again to bake tomorrow. It's been an hour, we're gonna do our first round of stretch and folds. Wet your hands first, it helps it to not stick. Reach in, grab from the bottom, stretch it just as far as it wants to go and fold it over. Twist your bowl a quarter turn and do the same thing, going all the way around. I'm just gonna keep doing this until it won't stretch anymore. Sometimes it's 4 times, sometimes it's 8 times. And if it's a higher hydration, sometimes it's 12 times. And it's already given me tension. So that's all I'm gonna do. I think I just did that 5 times. Cover it back up, give it a half hour, and we're gonna come back and do another round just like that. It's been 30 minutes. We're gonna do round 2. Cover it up, 30 more minutes. We'll come back and do round 3. It's been a half hour. We're gonna do round 3. This time I'm gonna do coil folds. Get your hands first. Grab from the bottom and pull straight up. And then fold it over. There's already quite a bit of tension in this, so I'm only gonna have to do this a couple times. Yeah, see all the tension in that? So that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lay it in there, cover it back up, wait a half hour. We'll come back and do our 4th and final round. It's been a half hour. We're gonna do our 4th and final round. I'm gonna do coil folds again, only because I think it shapes it really pretty for the final part of bulk fermentation. And bulk fermentation starts from the time you mix your dough. So if you're going off of a chart, for like a temperature chart or something to know how long to bulk ferment for, that starts from the time you initially mix your dough. I don't temp my dough or anything. I just make it as easy as possible for myself. So we're done with that. And I've been using the bulk fermentation hack where you just take a piece of your dough and drop it into lukewarm room temp water. Once that floats, you know that bulk fermentation is complete and that you can shape and either bake your dough or put it in the fridge to cold proof overnight. So I'm gonna put my lid back on, I'm gonna set it aside, and I'm gonna wait for this dough to float. Come back later and I'm gonna do another video on shaping it and baking it. I am gonna bake this loaf all in the same day, so this will all be one day. Mixing the dough, letting it rise, shaping it, and baking it, and eating it, of course.